Welcome to Talkin Bout Real Estate, where we discuss the real deal of buying and selling a home, the ups, the downs, and everything in between. My name is Michelle Towers. I'm a licensed real estate agent, and I'm sharing what you need to know about buying and selling to help move you toward better living. Hi there, and welcome to Talkin Bout Real Estate. I'm Michelle Towers, your favorite real estate agent, and I'm here to answer your questions and to talk about all things that are real estate related. The thing I want to talk about today is probably something you've been hearing in the news. I'm getting a lot of questions about it. It's concerning this settlement that comes from a lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors, NAR. I just want you to know, there is a huge amount of misinformation going on about what the settlement means, what the lawsuit was about, and what the settlement means. I mean, it is insane. So I'm hoping I can clear up just a few things. I don't have time to get into all of it, but I want to clear up some basic things that I think you'll be really surprised to hear, because it's not what you're hearing on TV, on the news. I'm sure that you have seen headlines that say, "Oh, the 6% commission is gone," and buyers agents don't get paid anymore. Sellers don't have to pay anybody anymore. I just want to clear up what all that really means and what the truth is. So here's what I want to start with. The first thing that you've probably been hearing is, "Oh, that 6% commission is gone." Well, that's not true, because there never was a set 6% compensation for brokers. Our compensation has always been negotiable. It has never been a set number. There is an industry standard that ranges anywhere between 5 and 7%, but you have to know that every single negotiation has always been, every single contract that's been signed between an agent and a seller or a buyer, all of that has always been negotiable. So there is no 6% number. It's always been negotiable. So I want to clear that up first. Another thing that you've been hearing is sellers don't have to pay the commission anymore. Well, that's not true either, because for another thing, the sellers never had to pay compensation to the buyer's agent. Here's how it works. When a seller is selling a home, they sign with a listing agent, with a broker that's going to help help them sell their house. They agree to pay that agent's brokerage firm a certain percentage. So maybe that's where you hear the 6%. Sometimes it's 5%. Sometimes it's 5.4%. It can be whatever number that is agreed upon. But the seller actually pays the brokerage firm that amount. And of that amount, the seller can decide, to working this number out with the listing agent, how much of that would we like to offer to the buyer's agent. But that has always been a negotiable issue. Just so you know, the seller doesn't have to pay anything to the buyer's agent. And I think that's what you're hearing right now. "Oh, the seller doesn't have to pay anymore." Well, the seller never had to pay anymore, but the seller has always opted to pay. And I'll just tell you, if you have in the past sold a house and you are a seller and you paid a commission to a buyer's agent, this is my personal opinion. So, if you seek legal advice, don't take just my opinion, but I'm telling you my opinion. If you've ever done that, paid a buyer's agent, believe me, I believe it really worked in your favor, because it's a very smart thing to do. And I'll cover that a little bit later, why that's important. Why it's important, I believe, to do it, and why I think it was to your benefit to do it. But this idea that now we don't have to pay buyers agents, it was never a requirement to pay buyers agents, and it's always been negotiable as far as what the amount is. So really, the bottom line is this whole settlement truly is not changing anything very much. It's not a question of if the buyer's agent is going to get paid a compensation. Really, the question that this whole settlement is answering is who is going to pay the buyer's agent? So there's never been any conversation about the buyer's agent not being paid. The question is, who now is going to pay that? And so let me see. There's so many different directions to go with this, but I wanted to clear that part out. So you've never, as a seller, you've never had to pay that compensation. But I will tell you this. I guess I'll go into it now. Why I believe, if you've ever done it, and if you plan to sell your home, why it is a smart thing to do. The first thing is, if a seller isn't willing to provide this compensation, it really can have a negative impact on getting your home sold and getting it sold at the highest price possible. Now, there's a few reasons for that. As far as how it can affect you, if the seller is not going to pay, is not going to pay the brokerage firm to be able to split that compensation with the buyer's agent, then that's going to be on the burden of the buyer to pay for their own buyer's agent. Now, if you've ever bought a home, especially you first-time home buyers, you know that it's expensive. It takes a lot of resources. It takes a lot of money to be able to buy this home. You've got to pay closing costs. You've got to have down payment money. You've got to be able to pay for appraisal and inspection fees and all of these other things. And if what I am fearful of, then again, this is my opinion, is that if the burden of paying the buyer's agent is on the buyer, then there's going to be a lot of people who won't even be able to afford to buy a home anymore. And that's really what I see as the biggest concern out of all of this is. And especially if you're dealing with an FHA buyer or a VA buyer, because they're not going to, according to the settlement and according to the way the regulations lay out already, FHA and VA buyers are not going to be able to pay a buyer's agent. Now, you're going to ask, why is it important to even have a buyer's agent? Do we really need one? Well, if you've ever bought a home, you understand how many details are involved in it. This is a profession. Being a real estate agent is actually, it's really a profession. And it's kind of like going to court without a lawyer, because there are so many legal documents that are involved. We have title documents that your real estate agent is going to work you through. We have inspections that your real estate agent is going to guide you through to help you to get the most out of this home, and to help you to get repairs and things that are going to be needed. The real estate agent helps with just making sure that all the documentation is in place and everything is done when it needs to be done. Making sure that the settlements are in order, that all of the numbers are lining up. I could go on and on about all of the things that a professional real estate agent provides. And it is really to the buyer's advantage to have an agent. But if they are having to pay that along with all of the other costs, really what I fear is that that if this settlement is taken the wrong way, it could affect a buyer's ability to even buy. So let's go back to the seller. Why does it affect the seller? Because if you have a handful of buyers who can't afford to look at your home, then they're just not going to look at your home. They're going to look for other homes where that compensation to their agent is being taken care of. So by saying, no, I don't want to pay that buyer's agent, you're automatically going to you're going to eliminate FHA buyers. You're going to eliminate VA buyers. You're going to eliminate buyers who just don't have the extra money to have their representation. And it really is only fair to have, the seller's agent, the listing agent, the seller already has their representation. So it's kind of like I said, it's like going to court. You've got a lawyer for one side, but the buyer doesn't have someone to help them through the process. So as a seller, if you don't pay that, if you're not willing to provide that compensation to their agent, then what's going to happen is they're probably going to decide not to even look at your home. So your home is going to be a lot less attractive to buyers, and you could expect to see quite a few less showings, which means the chance of higher offers is not going to come in. So that's one reason why it really is of a benefit for sellers to provide that compensation, to continue to provide that compensation. Like I said, this is the way it's been most of the time, because sellers have chosen that, yes, this is to my benefit to provide this compensation. Another reason that it's really beneficial for sellers to provide this compensation to the buyer's agent is because it directly affects the value of your home. And a lot of people are not aware of this, but when an appraiser appraises your home during the selling process, they have already factored in that compensation. So a lot of people are not aware of that, because what the appraisers are going to the MLS, which is 92% of all homes are sold by real estate agents, and so they're in the MLS, and those have always included that compensation for both the listing agent and the buyer's agent. So if you are not going to offer that compensation to the buyer's agent, what's going to happen is that amount is going to be decreased from the value of your home. So that's another benefit to including that, because it does bring the value of your home down. And I think a lot of people aren't really aware of that. And so there really are a lot of advantages to continuing on the way that we have been continuing on. But I know, like I said, the media is out there saying, oh, you don't have to pay this anymore. But what they're not telling you is that it could be very detrimental to you as a seller if you do not continue to do this. It's always your choice. It's always been your choice whether you want to pay that or not. But what they're saying to you is, oh, it doesn't matter. You don't have to pay that. But they're not really giving you the whole story as to why it is a benefit for you to pay it, and why it has been beneficial, why it has worked for so long in the past. And as far as buyers go, like I said, this is really what concerns me, is if they continue to try to enforce this and try to put this message out here that sellers, oh, you shouldn't pay the buyer's agent. That is going to put so many more buyers in dire need, and it's going to actually reduce their chances of being able to buy a home. I know that one of the reasons they're saying out there for this is, well, it's going to reduce the prices of the home, and that is true. It will, if you don't have that if you're not paying that additional compensation, it will bring the value of your home down, which really isn't good for a seller. But what it also does, but at the same time, it's not going to really affect the overall prices of homes. Let's just be honest. And this is my opinion. But home prices are going to continue to increase because not because of issues like this, but because of simple supply and demand. We have a low supply of homes. We have a lot of people who want to buy a home. So the price of homes are going to continue to increase. So I know that they're saying, oh, this is going to bring the price of homes down. But honestly, in my opinion, it's not going to bring the price of homes down. What it's actually going to do is put buyers in a position where there are fewer and fewer buyers who are even able to afford to buy a home. So I know I just said a lot. I know that it's very involved. I don't want to try to go into too much here. But if you have any questions about this, please feel free to talk to me. I'm at this point, I'm in weekly meetings getting more and more information about how this is unfolding. And I do want to point this out too, that none of this settlement is even in place yet. None of it is set in stone. Nothing is going to happen until probably July. Nothing is going to change. So as it has been in the past, we're going to continue on for now and everything that you're hearing about the settlement right now, things could still even change. So everything is still in flux. There's nothing that's been finally determined. So as far as I'm concerned, it's business as usual. So I guess the takeaways I want you to get from this is really this whole settlement and all of this really isn't changing anything very much at all. Buyer's agents are still going to be compensated. Would you not want to be compensated for the work that you do? Of course, buyer's agents still are going to be compensated. The question is, who is going to provide that? And again, that's not even new, because there's always been the option of who is going to provide that. But really, there's a whole lot of uproar and rigmarole about it, when it all washes out, really not a whole lot is going to change. So I hope this clears up a little bit. Like I said, if you have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out to me. If you want to hear more about this, just let me know. Until then, just know that I'm trying my best to stay on top of all of these things for you, so I can keep you informed, because I care about you, and just know that I'm here for you. So until next time, you have a great day. Bye.